Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Thriving in 2020 show, how to create more time, more money, and a body that you love and feel good in 2020. My name is Miko Lau, and I'll be your host for this show. And today you're in for a very special treat. If you've ever been thinking of how to start a blog that could eventually become a multiple six-figure, seven-figure business, online business, then you are at the right place at the right time. I just did a powerful interview with Michelle Rohr. She is the founder of the Secret O.W.L Society and the creator of the Ultimate Life Binder, as well as the Planner Girl magazine. She believes that when you take 100% control and responsibility for your life, then you can create anything you want. And she creates planners, courses, and leads a coaching program called the SOS Club to help women do just that. And inside this interview, we talked about how Michelle was able to turn a blog that she essentially was just having fun in. It's an outlet for her to openly express herself, express her voice, and that ultimately transitioned into an online six-figure business where now she has the life that she wants. She has options to do the things that she wants in her life. And we talked about how starting a blog not only can be a space for you to cultivate a relationship with yourself, it's also going to help you on your path of transformation and becoming a better person. And with that being said, that also creates an opportunity for you to impact the lives of so many people, anyone that you can reach on the online space. So keep listening and make sure you listen to the very end, because Michelle has something very special to give to you guys as a thank you for listening. And let us know what your biggest takeaway was at the very end. And we would love to hear from you. Michelle, welcome to the Thriving in 2020 show. Super excited to have you on. How are you doing today?
I am awesome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I am really excited to talk about this topic because you are someone who has literally taken advantage of the online space and created something successful financially to do what you love and also help other people at the same time and make money. So I'm excited to dive into this topic. Before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, who is Michelle? So our audience get to know you a little bit.
Well, I am a 31-year-old woman who slowly and organically designed a life she loved. And it all started a decade ago when I was working in a cafe and not enjoying my life there. And I just stumbled across a magazine called This Girl Means Business. And it kind of exposed me to this online world, and not just an online world in business, but also the feminine approach to business online. It was run by a woman named Carrie Green, and I just reached out to her and was like, how can I be a part of this? I want to help you. What can I do? And one thing led to another. I just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and she's still my client today. And I no longer work in the cafe. And I have a six-figure business as a result of just taking one step at a time.
Oh, I love it. And I think that's how I found you online too. I believe I found you on an interview that was featured with Carrie Green. The title of the podcast or the interview was To Think Like a Millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how
to think like a millionaire.
Yeah. So we're going to touch on that a little bit, but I want to talk more about your story because that's really inspirational and I resonate with that so much. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about, I know that's what you believe in, taking 100% control and responsibility of our lives. And It sounds like you were doing that. You reached out to someone who has the life that you want and you took initiatives. So I know a lot of people, like, they might not be that fearless when it comes to doing things like that. So what really pushed you? Like, what was that motivation that got you out of, like, maybe some doubts, some fears to reach out to someone like Carrie and ask for help?
Well, it helped that had started a blog, and whenever you listen to entrepreneurs online talk about where it all started, like 9 times out of 10, they say, oh, well, I started this little blog and then one thing led to another. So I think blogging is a great place to start, to just kind of get the ball rolling and just have a space for you to express yourself and use your voice and start to attract people who leave comments and you're like, wow, I'm actually having a conversation with people who find value in what I have to say, and that builds your confidence. And I think for me, it was really critical that I just started it to share my journey, because I had made a decision to take responsibility for my life. And the blog was just my way of just sharing what I was doing, what I was learning. Here's a book I read. Here's a tip I learned. And I was just sharing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a tool in my toolbox when I reached out to Carrie, because I wanted to write for her magazine. And I said, here, check out my blog. Mm-hmm. And she did, and she liked the articles, and she said, I think we have the same way of thinking. Yes, you can write for the magazine. So I wasn't just this random person popping up in her email saying, I want to be a part of your world. What can I do to help? Because that's not helpful. It's like, well, she doesn't know me. What would she tell me I could do? But because I had a blog, she could go check it out and get to know me. A blog is really your personality online for people to get to know you. And I think today there's so much baggage around blogging because people are obsessed with, am I doing it the right way? Just yesterday I had an Instagram message from someone who was like, I'm running my blog on Wix, but is that the right thing to do? I know I probably should be doing WordPress, but I can't figure out WordPress. And it just becomes this huge ordeal to just blog. And I'm like, just have fun. Just pick anything that feels easy, and you can always switch over later. Like when I started my blog, it was on Blogspot. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. And then after a few years, I switched to Squarespace. So my advice to people is just start a blog. Get used to using your voice and sharing what you're learning. And soon you'll start attracting people, and soon it will turn into a journey of taking one step after the other. Because what happened for me was I was just blogging for the sake of blogging. And because I was just putting one foot in front of the other, it organically grew into a business. I didn't say, I want to take 100% responsibility for my life, therefore let me start a business and change everyone else's life. It's like, no, I'm going to change my life, and let me just share what I'm learning on this blog. And then eventually it turned into a business organically over time. And that's I think the best way to do it, because I wasn't obsessing over, am I making enough money? Am I doing this right? Because I wasn't trying to build a business. I was just building myself and attracting people, and then eventually created a community of people who wanted to buy things from me. So I literally started to make things that they could buy, because they were literally like, can you make something for us to buy? They have that kind of connection with people. They want to spend money with you. So my very first product, I literally made it because people were saying, can you make this so that we can buy it from you? And it's just a really lovely way to build a business, because it's not trying to tick off all the boxes and do things the right way. It's very organic. It's very personal. It's very based on who you are, instead of trying to be someone else in order to make money.
That is so powerful. And I can just see like that the way that you approach your business is really authentic. It's who Michelle is, and you attracted the people that resonated with you. And I know this is powerful, because when I first started my entrepreneurship journey, I was going about it the opposite way. I was getting into network marketing. I was trying to learn all these strategies to make money fast. And I wasn't really being who Miko Lau was, like authentically. I wasn't bringing out my passion, my purpose onto the table. And it was just more so like trying to get from people. But what you are doing, it's all about just, having a space where you can openly express yourself, being creative, connecting with people. starting a blog, all of us can do that. The internet, we all have access to it. But you were mentioning about the friend that messaged you on Instagram. I resonate with this because I'm also the type of person that likes to like get everything perfect before I take action. So this is a question that a lot of the audience might be wondering right now. They might be thinking like, oh, Michelle, I'm not good at writing. Can I still have a blog and be successful at that?
Yes, and I think that anytime we say I'm not good at XYZ, it might not even be true. I truly believe that a lot of the things that hold us back isn't because we lack the skills or didn't go to college to learn that or didn't get a certificate. It's because something inside of us deep down, probably related to our past, is making us feel like we're just not good enough. Like something happened where you feel like unless you have some kind of outside validation telling you, okay, now you can go be a good writer, now you can go be good at this or that, then we just don't even try. Like how are you supposed to be a good writer? Are you born that way? Like Seth Godin, who has the most popular marketing blog in the world, he said, the reason I write good blog posts is because I was willing to write bad blog posts. Like I have great writing because I was willing to be a bad writer. So no one says you need to be a great writer to have a blog. In fact, my first blog posts were like a paragraph long and just like off the top of my head. And you have to be willing to just do that in order to get good. And it's not even about being good. It's about just being you. And however you want to express that, whether it's through the written word or on a video or in a podcast, you need to find a way to express it. And I actually think that choosing video or a podcast is necessary today because there are so many blogs out there. And even if you are a good writer, what can happen is you end up hiding behind your blog. So I think that people should take one step further and either show up on video or show up on a podcast and let people hear your voice, let people see your face. And it can be you reading something you wrote and putting it up as a podcast. It could be, you having a conversation with a friend over Zoom and putting it up as a video. If you look at my blog, that's what I do. Like I'll write a blog post and then I'll also read it and I'll put up the recording as a podcast. And every week I'll have a conversation with my friend Amy and I'll put it up as a video. And when I do these things, it's not to think or not because I think, oh, if I do this, it's going to be a great business strategy. I just do it because it feels good and authentic. And eventually it turns into what looks like a business strategy. But really, by putting things out there, the dots start connecting. When I started my YouTube show with Amy, my friend who I mentioned, it was just to start a YouTube show. I was like, we have conversations on Zoom already. We love to talk about business and life and intuition and blah, blah, blah. Why don't we press record? And then why don't we just post it on YouTube? And now we have a whole community of people who absolutely love that show. And it's turned into a podcast and it's turned into thousands and thousands of dollars in sales. And it was just initiated by, let's just try it. And Seth Godin has a quote that says, this might not work, let's try it. And that's the attitude I have toward business. So many people are like, will this work? I'm not going to try it unless I know it works. And that's the wrong attitude. So if you have just an experimental, kind of like a childlike approach to business, then you'll be able to try more, write more, video more, podcast more, and eventually over time, because things do take time. I also have an attitude of don't look for any results until 18 months. It takes 18 months for real results to show up. So stop like posting a blog post and then giving up because you're not a millionaire. Like put it in for 18 months and then you'll look back and realize, wow, it looks like I actually knew what I was doing. Things came together. The dots are connecting. I'm making money. I have a community, but you didn't know all of those dots when you started. It's just looking back, you see that the dots connected because you showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Michelle, you're talking directly to me right now because all of that, like I catch myself doing this. Like I would make a post, right? Make a video on social media, and I would get discouraged because I didn't get as much engagement as I had hoped for. But like you said, it's like planting that seed and nurturing it, and over time it will blossom. But it sounds like, and I just love the way that you're so carefree, like the ease and flow that I can feel from you. And with that approach, like when we can just have fun and openly express ourselves, I think that's really like, it's not only to get to the end goal, but you're also really enjoying the ride along the journey. Yeah, so and I feel like the work that you do, and anyone, if we want to get into like blogging and sharing our journey, it's not only helping other people, but I think in the process of doing that, you also develop a better relationship with yourself. Like, do you find yourself like getting to know who Michelle is through blogging, through sharing your journey?
Yes, because how often do we share our own voice, period? And a lot of people don't journal, and yet we know that journaling has a huge benefit and power. And so I've never really was good at sticking to a journal, probably because I've had some bad experiences with journaling where I was forced to journal. But then when I started blogging, it was kind of my way of just realizing what was going on in my own head. And it made me look at the world differently because now I could see things to share. I could see what was going on in my own life that could give value to other people's lives. And it made me feel more connected to other people and to my own reality. And it made me feel more present. So that's how I approached blogging. And I wouldn't even say that like I'm the most amazing blogger, my blog is amazing or whatever. It's just that it gave me a really great starting point, and it helped me grow my business in such a way that was always based on who I am and learning more of who I am, being on this journey of just being more of who I am. I know there's like advice out there that says, well, when you blog, you should choose a niche and you should pick a specific thing to talk about. Don't you dare talk about your dog or your children. If you're supposed to be blogging about copywriting, people don't want to hear about your family. Like, I've never resonated with that advice because I'm like, well, what if I pick a niche and then decide I'm not interested in that anymore? Because guess what? I'm a human being. I'm growing and evolving all the time. Who says I'm supposed to be this topic for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So I've always blogged from a place of I'm sharing me and I'm evolving. I'm becoming more. I'm changing every year. And the people I attract are attracted to me. And so they go on this whole journey with me. I have people who are repeat customers and they've followed me since the beginning over a decade ago when I started my blog. And that's the kind of customer I want. I don't want someone who's going to be offended because I decide to talk about something different today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So Michelle, let me ask you this. I know when you started your blog, you didn't have that intention and that goal of trying to turn it into a business. So obviously, like your approach wasn't like, coming from a place of lack. Like, I need to make this happen so I can make money, which I feel like a lot of people who just transition into entrepreneurship tends to feel that way, including myself when I first started. But when you were on this journey, like when was that mark that started seeing the money flow in for you?
Well, this is something I like. I don't love talking about it, but I find myself having to talk about it because people do come into the online entrepreneurial space thinking, I need to make money. Like, is this going to make money? And I have a course where I teach people how to make planners. And sometimes I get messages and emails from people that are like, can I make $4,000 next month if I join your course and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my goodness. First of all, desperation pushes what you want away from you. So number one, you need to get out of that desperate space. Mm-hmm. You cannot just jump from having a job to having a business. You have to transition, because chances are you still don't have the mindset of an entrepreneur. That takes time to cultivate. We've grown up in a society that has trained us to be employees. We come from families that probably gave us experiences that we need to unravel for us to realize our worth and, uncover lies that we may be believing about ourselves because we grew up a certain way and we were conditioned to think a certain way, and it might not even be true. And so there's all this inner work that has to happen for us to manifest results that are worthy of, the kind of person we want to become, and the kind of results we want to achieve. We have to become different people. That takes time. That's not just, oh, I quit my job yesterday, therefore I'm a new person. So first of all, people need to give themselves a lot more time based on the mindset work that needs to be done. Mm-hmm. So if someone is coming to me and saying, I need to make money now, I know that the answer is not, well, do this and that in your business and that'll be the solution. The answer is, you need to work on some personal development. You need to calm down. You need to take care of your bills. So in my own journey, I was always, in the beginning, I always was taking care of my bills with money outside of my business and growing my business on the side. And that looked for several years after I closed the cafe. I had my blog going. I had this wonderful client named Carrie who was at the beginning of her business, but I still wasn't making a lot of money online. So I had to supplement my income cleaning houses and babysitting for, I think, 2 or 3 years to take care of the bills. So my business was never like, oh my gosh, my business needs to pay my bills. It's my source of income. I'm desperate. It needs to, make money. I've never put that pressure on my business. I've always made money to pay my bills doing work that was temporary. Like I was able to say, babysitting and cleaning houses is temporary. My business is long-term, but I have to do these temporary things in order for my business to grow in a way that's not based on pressure and desperation. And then as my business started to make more and more money, like I got some more clients, I made this digital planner. I started to do more for Carrie. Carrie started to hire me more for more things, and I made more money there. As those things started happening over time, I was able to let go of cleaning and babysitting more and more until I could stop it completely. So it's this transition, and I needed that time because I needed to grow into an entrepreneur mentally. It wasn't just something that you flip the switch. So it took several years before my business was able to take care of me. And since then, it has taken care of me. Since then, it has grown more and more in revenue to the point that now this year I've retired my husband. He's a stay-at-home dad. We're on to baby number 2. We're looking at a new place to move. We're flexible. We just moved from Tennessee to Florida a year ago. Like, we have choices and options because I decided to start this thing 10 years ago. And guess what? It took 10 years to get to this point. Yeah. And yes, it could have gone faster. People do it faster, but that's because their mindset is closer to where it needs to be for them to get those results faster.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is so inspirational. And I think that's one thing I love about entrepreneurship so much. It's like putting in a couple years of grind time, compounding your time and everything. It might, you might not see results during that time, but then the rest of your life, you get to live how you want to live. So that is so inspirational, Michelle. And I noticed the way that you approach your business is really powerful. And, you know, I continue to like look at my own journey and be like, oh, that's why things doesn't work out. Because, you know, the way that you approach it is you really kept what you were doing in your business fun, like no pressure, no stress. You took care of the bills with other jobs on the side, and keeping that temporary mindset really help you with your business and growing it organically. But let's talk about, like you said, it requires us to shift our mindset in order to start generating more money, more abundance to come into our lives. Like, what would you say were the turning points for you that, you know, from Michelle, who was not making that much money, to Michelle, who's making like so much money now, where you have the flexibility, the options? Like, what was that shift from?
There were several shifts, and let me turn off this iPad because people are messaging me. Get that off. Well, the first shift was deciding to take 100% responsibility, because I realized that I had allowed my life to just revolve around the decisions of other people, and I needed to make my own decisions. I need to realize I had 100% power to design my own life, and I just needed to grasp that power. So that was mindset shift number one. And then mindset shift number two, it was realizing the power of passive income. So it was at a point where I had made an online course for Carrie for her membership, and it was on graphic design. And there was this agitation there where I felt like, okay, I know people are going to take this course and then come to me and ask if I could do their graphic design. And I was feeling like, I don't know if I want to do that. And yet this is like the version of success people want. More clients. Why wouldn't you want more clients? But I just felt like there's something else that I need to do. And I got on a coaching call with a yogi, actually, to talk about my business. I just felt like I need to talk to this yogi about business, about my life. And I told him, you know, I don't know if I want more clients. I don't know if I want to sit at my computer more. And he said, you don't want more clients, you want more customers. And that was a shift to creating passive income products. So products instead of services. And so even though it made me be in a position where I had to say no to fast money and just live on the little bit of money my business was making at the time, I focused on creating my first real passive income product for myself, my own business. And that was my Ultimate Life Binder Planner, which is a digital PDF that I sell on Etsy. And it was a shift to thinking more of long-term passive income and putting in the work, even though I wasn't able to see the money right away, versus emergency, immediate income, do the work for the client, get paid, do the work for the client, get paid, which is still kind of an employee mindset. So I had to switch to thinking about what can I do that is going to pay me after I've done the work once, and it will pay me over and over again. And so that's when I created my first passive income product. It's made tens of thousands of dollars. It's created led to more products and skills and opportunities that has given that, like that $21 product has turned into a six-figure business because one thing led to another. And I just made passive income product after passive income product. And so that was like mindset shift number two. Mindset shift, well, the last mindset shift that I can remember was a couple years ago. I just realized, I had a moment where I realized, oh my goodness, it's time to be a leader. It's time to be a leader. I can't just be an entrepreneur. I have to be a leader. I have to say that I'm going to lead people. Like I'm going to take a community and lead them, not just sell stuff, not just write blog posts, like be a leader. And that was a powerful shift because it was thinking more about transformation instead of transaction. So when you start your business, you're probably thinking, how do I get more sales? How do I get more sales? And you're thinking about transactions. You're just thinking about making a sale, moving on, making a sale, moving on. But when you're a leader, you're not thinking about your business that way. You're thinking about, how can I help people have more transformations? And so you're no longer looking at someone as someone who could buy something from you. You're looking at people as someone you could take on a journey with you, and you can help them transform their lives. And it has helped me create what is typically called a customer journey, where you can help people start with a low cost product, and over time they buy more and more from you, higher cost products. But what's really happening is they're going on this journey of transformation, and their lives are changing because you decided to be a leader, and you decided to create this journey and this experience that helps them go from where they were to where they want to be. And you don't create that by just thinking about, how can I get more sales? How can I get more sales? So those are like the 3 business mindset shifts. There were even more mindset shifts that were happening on a personal and emotional level, because again, it's about the inner journey. So reading a lot of personal development books, learning about how to overcome trauma and your past and your childhood and negative beliefs and false beliefs. Like there's a lot of garbage we all carry, and we don't know it because we just positive thoughts. I'm only going to think positive thoughts. But I think, look at where the negative thoughts are coming from. They're tied to beliefs that are going to be in you unless you unravel them intentionally, instead of trying to push them down with a lot of positive thinking. Like, negative thoughts aren't a bad thing. They're just a signal that there's something there that you need to look at. And until you look at it, it's going to stay inside of you and affect your business. So you got to balance out the positive and the negative, the feminine and the masculine, in order to really make progress in a healthy way.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like there's a shift going on now from like positive thinking to really embracing the dark side, the negative. And I think by embracing that and being a space to love those emotions is how we can release them and just let them go. So, Michelle, I love this conversation so much. I can talk to you all day, but unfortunately our time is coming to an end. So let me just end this interview with a couple of last questions for you. So for our listeners listening right now, and they are super inspired by you, and they know they have hope now, because like literally we can just go on Squarespace and open a blog post and start like blogging today. But they might be still on the fence. They might be too scared, or I don't know, whatever is going on in their minds. What would you say to these people?
What would I say? If you want to do something and you're too scared to do it, then you need to think about how it's not about you. I always have this image in my mind is, if you are walking down the street and you saw a little kid crying on the side of the road. He looks like he lost his parents, doesn't know what to do, he's crying. What would you do?
Go ask what's going on and help him.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't say, well, I'm not qualified to do this. I've never done this before. I'm not good at this. Like, that wouldn't be your reaction. You would go help. And when you are showing up online, yes, it's because they're on a personal level, it's fulfilling, you're expressing yourself, you have a place to just have your own space to play around and experiment and see what happens. But on another level, there's people out there who are waiting for you. They want your help. They want to hear your voice. A lot of people are like, well, why would I talk about this when there's other people out there talking about the same thing and they're better? It's like, who gives a rip? Like, it's not about the information. It's about the person. It's about the connection. It's about your perspective. even me showing up on YouTube and being a half Black girl with a curly afro, it's going to connect with different people than if I look like a different person saying the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
People need you. And when we don't honor that, we're basically saying to other people that they don't get to share their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I were to say, well, I'm half Black and curly hair and the only successful people out there don't look like me, therefore I can't be successful. What I'm saying is if you look like me, you can't be successful. Like I'm condemning other people. But if I'm showing up as I am, I'm giving other people permission to realize I can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have permission. There's a way forward. And so like, don't be the person who walks past the little kid on the road just because you have things you believe that aren't true and don't serve anyone. Like take the time to uproot those thoughts, let them go, and help more people.
I got chills listening to that. And I just want to take some moment to acknowledge you, Michelle, for being the person that you are and for stepping up to who you are and bringing your unique gifts to the world, because you made that decision to take control and take responsibility for your life. And not only have you created something successful and amazing for yourself, now you're helping so many other people do the same thing with your unique expression of who you are. And I encourage our listeners listening to this to also do the same, because we don't know what it is that you have inside that there are people waiting for you, like Michelle just mentioned. So definitely take the chance and take that first step forward, and then just go with the flow. The doors will begin to open, but we always have to take that first step forward first. So Michelle, how can our listeners find you online and stay connected with you?
Go to my website, secretowlsociety.org. You'll find my YouTube show on there, my products, my blog posts, my podcast, everything's on there. So go check it out.
Awesome. And I'll put that link as well inside the email that this interview went out to. So make sure you go back and check that out. And Michelle, I know you prepared something very special for our listeners today for thanking them to be on here.
Yes. So I have something called Planner Girl Magazine. It's a magazine that, yes, is written by planner lovers for planner lovers, because that's what started my business, was I made my own planner to take responsibility for my life. But deeper than that, the magazine is just to serve other people who want to also take responsibility for their lives. So there's a link to go log into this online portal that not only gives you access to the magazine, but a bunch of other goodies that we give to our magazine readers. So if you're interested, check that out.
Yes, I checked it out earlier, and there's a lot of amazing goodies in there. So make sure you get your hands on that. I'll also put that link in the same email. So also let us know what your biggest takeaways were from this interview with Michelle. We would love to hear from you, and definitely share this interview with anyone that you think could benefit by listening to this. Okay, so thank you again, Michelle, for being on here, and thank you everyone for listening and tuning in. We'll see you next time. Okay.